Hello, everyone. Welcome into another episode of the Four Quarters podcast powered by Four Quarters Media. I'm your host, Tyler Bennett, here with you once again. We're getting closer to what used to be normal in sport. Baseball's coming back. Players can report July 1st. Season starts, I think it's like July 23rd, 24th, 60-game season, which is going to be a bit different. But it's 60 more games than I thought we were going to have for baseball. NBA is supposed to be coming back at the end of July as well. Players are dropping by the day, that saying they aren't going to come back for the restart. It'll be interesting to see how many continue to drop out and say they're not going to play between now and when it starts. Golf is still rolling strong. Nick Watney was diagnosed with COVID-19. But other than that, it seems like it's been going relatively fine. Soccer, we're slowly getting there. Slowly but surely. But again, health and safety is by far the most important part of it all. But it's a step in the right direction for the sport world. Counting down the days until we have a winter season in U Sports in CCAA basketball. Episode 8 today. A regularly scheduled Thursday U Sports episode. We go to the East Coast. We go to the AUS. We have two members of the Memorial Seahawks on tap today, Boris Ristanovic and Kosta Tiodorovic of the Seahawks, both hailing from Serbia. So it was an interesting chat. Kosta's back home right now in Beograd, Serbia. Boris is still on the East Coast getting ready to do virtual day camps for the Seahawks. It was an interesting chat. It was great to hear how they ended up at Memorial, coming from Serbia, playing at different high schools in the States, and ultimately what led them to Memorial, and comparing the styles of game. And it was just interesting to hear their story and compare the two and see how they got to Memorial and just the differences and similarities and why Memorial over other places. So that was really interesting. And then we got their thoughts on how 2019-2020 played out. A tale of two halves for them. Started out really strong in the first half, and then when it rains, it pours. And injuries crept their way in. Issues around eligibility crept in the winter, and before they knew it, the final weekend was here, and they had to sweep UPEI in a pair of 4-point games to make it into the playoffs, which they did. But we got their thoughts on kind of how that played out as well. And it's always interesting to look at it from an outside perspective. It's another thing altogether to hear from people on the inside and get their side of how things unfolded. And then we capped it off with kind of what they're doing to get ready for a winter season when it begins. So with that in mind, let's jump right in to episode 8 of the Four Quarters podcast powered by Four Quarters Media with Memorial Seahawks forwards Boris Ristanovic and Kosta Tiodorovic. Enjoy. All right, so I'm now thrilled to be joined by Boris Ristanovic and Kosta Tiodorovic of the Memorial Seahawks. Gentlemen, how are things with you guys before we jump in?
Good, man. Good. How are things over there?
It's
not too bad.
Boris is in a different province, so he's in a much better situation than Ontario is.
We're Rona free over here for now.
You've been out. I've seen on Instagram. You've been golfing. You've been
enjoying
exploring a bit.
All the things.
Went to the infamous Dildo, Newfoundland, which is one of the best city names you could ever have. With their Hollywood sign, Jimmy Kimmel's the mayor, honorary mayor.
What's his name? The Mexican guy that works for Jimmy Kimmel, I forgot.
Guillermo?
Yeah, Guillermo. He was there last year.
Yeah, spent like a week there.
Last year.
Yeah.
About Dildo. Yeah, fun times.
Just anything you can do to stay busy at this point.
Pretty much, man.
And Kosta, how are things with you? You're back home?
Yeah, I'm here let's hear the pronunciation.
I tried to Google. I Googled both cities to try and set myself up to be as cultured, I guess, as I could, because I had no idea. So Boris Kragujevac,
Kragujevac. That's
close
pretty
enough.
good. That's not
Close
bad.
enough.
I've heard way worse.
Okay, I'll take like a 6 out of 10 for that one.
Oh,
And
I'll give you 7.5 actually.
oh, okay, I like it. That's a pass.
0.5 to get that.
Costa, yours would be easy to say Belgrade, but that's our way of saying it. But Beograd,
Oh, that was perfect, man. I'll give you
Woo!
a 9.
I might have to. I should have ended with that, because then I don't think I'm going to get any higher than that on this entire interview the rest of the way. I peaked early. But how were things back home with you? I know you went home when this all happened. How were things where you were?
Well, things are good here. I mean, it's always good to go back and be with the family, see friends you haven't seen for a while.
Yeah.
As far as coronavirus goes, things are starting to pick up again here. Experts are saying the second wave is coming. A lot more people now are getting infected. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what's gonna happen, but I won't be surprised if we end up quarantined again, because it might be the only way to stop the spread a little bit.
Yeah, that's the thing. Canada now too, like in Ontario, like Toronto, it's like the last place to open. They open beaches, and first day it's shoulder to shoulder. Everybody seems like it's not even an issue anymore. We're far from done with COVID.
It's way tougher for you guys than in Serbia too, where Kosta's from, in the capital, like city of millions. Like everybody gets anxious. Everybody wants to go out. You can't control like that large of a crowd. Like here in Newfoundland, there's like 500,000 in the whole province. Like 200,000 in the city, so it's way more manageable than over there.
Like I know I've been anxious to get out. Like I've been dying to get a haircut, and I looked online before we came on, and the barbershop I usually go to, it's an hour and 40 minutes to wait. Wow. I don't have time to wait.
But even here, you have to like schedule. It's like the whole thing now. You gotta set up an appointment. If you miss it, that's it. Good luck next time.
Yep. And like you gotta book like a week in advance, 2 weeks in advance. Like it's craziness.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I'm getting one tomorrow actually, right? Just to be safe, before everything shuts down again.
Because heaven forbid you wait another week and that wave hits and we're back in. And I'm trusting my wife to cut my hair, and there's patches that are longer than the rest.
Yeah. Yep.
It's a lot cheaper. I mean, but at the same time, you can get what you pay for, and I don't pay for it, and quality's not that good.
Oh, trust me, Boris cut my hair numerous times, so I know what you're talking about.
It's not the greatest. It's very cheap, but not the greatest quality for sure.
Again, you get what you pay for, and if you're not going to pay him, not going to pay the man for it, he's not going to care. Got to give him a little something extra, then he might, fade it a bit or whatever you got to do.
I thought I was paying with my friendship, but I guess it wasn't enough.
It wasn't enough.
Well, now you know for next time. You got to sweeten the deal a little bit extra.
There we go.
For you guys, kind of want to start off with kind of how you guys ended up at Memorial. Coming from Serbia to Memorial, it's not really a straight path. So I guess, Boris, will start with you. Kind of, when did you come over to North America, and then kind of how did you end up in Newfoundland, of all places?
So I probably have one of the more interesting stories when it comes to that.
Okay.
So I don't know if you guys know one of the month's best players, Vasko Ćurčić. He played a couple years ago. He played there for 5 years. So he's also from my city. Okay. And he was coached by Peter Bennett. Mm-hmm. So I grew up playing with his younger brother actually back in Serbia, like basically my whole childhood up until I left Serbia when I was 17. So Vasco's first year, I think that was 2012 or 2013. I'm not really sure. Mm-hmm. That means I was like 13 years old back then. I was just at my practice with my club team back home.
Yep.
And Peter was actually visiting Serbia with Vasco after Vasco's first year.
Mhm.
So Peter comes to my practice just to check out Vasco's brother, see what's going on, and then he sees me, and my mom was there at the stands. So like Peter meets my mom, he meets me, and he said like, "Who's this tall, skinny kid? Like, he might look like he has some potential, but he's still young. We'll see what's gonna happen there."
Yeah.
We just talk about me potentially going to Memorial one day, but like, what do I know when I'm 13? Like, I have no idea
That's true.
what's gonna happen tomorrow.
Yeah.
And so then nothing. Like he comes back. I carry on with playing basketball as a young player,
Mhm.
and then a couple of years later, I'm playing for the under-16 national team in Serbia. I'm kind of deciding what I want to do. Do I want to like go to a bigger team in Belgrade, play there? Do I want to go somewhere else in Europe? Or do I want to leave and go to the States and get my education? And that's kind of what I've always wanted to do.
Okay.
So I decided to go to US for 2 years, and I was there in high school,
Mhm.
hoping to get into a D1 school. And after 2 years there, I got some looks from some mid-major D1 schools, but
Mhm.
by the end of my stay over there, I wasn't really like satisfied with those offers, and I didn't really want to go somewhere where I have no idea where I'm going.
That's fair.
So at that time, like what was that like? That was 2017, so that's 4 years later.
Mhm.
I got in contact with Peter, and he offers me a scholarship at MUN. And funny enough, like from a 13-year-old boy, here I am in MUN now. So
Okay.
definitely happy with that decision.
Yep.
I had 2 great years. Unfortunately, Peter's not the coach anymore. He's not going to be coaching next season.
Mhm.
But I'll always be in touch with him. I'll always be very thankful and appreciative of everything he's done that brought me here, and definitely don't regret this decision.
It's funny how everything kind of comes full circle. You meet him at 13, and you have no idea what you want to do.
Oh, no idea.
And
No clue.
you fast forward to 2017, 2018, and you're going to
Sure.
Memorial after all.
Yep.
Like it
Life
just
is life.
comes. What was the biggest adjustment for you then going to play high school in the States? Because you went to the Baylor school, correct?
I went to Baylor school in Tennessee,
Yeah.
so it was much different. Like in US, they play much faster.
Mm-hmm.
Like people kind of just, especially guards, like jacking up shots. It's not really structured. Especially like I'm talking about high school. I know college is way different, but high school is very like unorthodox. People are just zone 2-3 zone, just fire away. Whoever gets the ball goes.
Yeah.
That's something that I wasn't really used to. So it was definitely a big adjustment. And also like when you leave home when you're 16,
it's true.
Like it's a big adjustment. It's everything's different. Culture is different. People are different. You're not gonna see your family for a whole year. Your friends.
Yeah.
So big adjustment. School system way different than back home.
Oh, I can only imagine.
Yeah. So I mean, definitely like grateful for the experience. Like it prepared me for fun. Like if I just went from Serbia straight to MUN, I would have to like adjust all over again. So it was definitely easier going from US high school to college here.
We even see like highlights when LaMelo Ball was in high school, like how many shots he jacked from half court just
it's
for the hell
crazy.
of it. Like that's their style. Like they don't care as much.
That's how it is.
Kosta, what about you? What was your journey like from Serbia to ultimately Memorial?
Well, I had a little bit of a different path. I wasn't as popular as Boris was back home playing wise.
Okay.
I basically played for the same club for, I don't know, probably about 10 years. And back at the time, that club was where Jokic used to play, actually. But then 2 clubs split. There was a whole thing with that. Doesn't matter now. But I was playing there. I was playing more of a regional Belgrade league.
Hmm.
I played 1 year on a national level, and I didn't get much playing time, but I always tried to put in as much work as I could.
Hmm.
And then around my, let's say, second year of high school, like grade 10 year, um, I was practicing with this private coach of mine, and he gave me an idea. Listen, maybe if you want, you can put together a highlight video, and we can try to get you to the States and try to get a scholarship later for your university education.
Hmm.
So I really liked the idea, and funny enough, when I first told it to my mother, she didn't want to hear anything about it. She didn't want to let me go, but
Oh,
after she realized it's a huge opportunity for me,
yeah.
we started working on that. And then my grade 11 year, I basically filmed every game,
Hmm.
put together a highlight video, and got an offer from Lyndon Institute in Vermont for my senior year of high school.
Hmm.
Uh, Now I was always extra careful with that, trying to see what kind of a high school it is. I didn't want to end up in a bad situation or something.
That's true. Yeah.
So, but lucky enough, there was two Serbian guys, one of whom is a family friend of ours that was playing basketball at Linden the year before.
Okay.
So I heard good things about Linden and decided
Yeah.
to go for it. Then I was there. It was an international campus, small city of 4,000 people,
Yeah.
maybe, and it was a whole different experience than than playing back home. The whole city was right behind us. Everybody knows you. It's a small community,
Hmm.
and I had a decent season. I thought I could have played better, but it's hard. It was hard for me to adjust, for example, for the absence of shot clocks. That was something I found really weird. Games ending 40-35.
Yeah, that's what I forgot to mention. That was the same thing. Like that was
Yeah,
crazy because in Europe it's the same thing. Like here, 24-second
Yep.
shot clock, and then you go over there, two teams playing 2-3 zone. Like nobody's shooting, nobody's doing anything. Like I was a part of the game that ended up like 28-26. I was like, what is going on?
yes,
Really?
exactly.
It was crazy.
So
I was so confused when I got there. That was one of my first games there.
yeah,
Just
so
nobody's doing anything. Just holding on to the ball as long as you can.
yeah.
They both,
Whoever was
Crazy.
in the lead in the fourth quarter, we used to have plays for just wasting time. It was crazy.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, and then after the season ended, I focused on school and everything, but
Hmm.
I put together a highlight video and then had a consultant helping me out with all that. And he told me, you have a couple of D2, D3 offers, so nothing is full ride. And then he told me there is one offer from Canada. And I said, where? And he said, Newfoundland. Now, I used to study in geography, islands, and everything. So I kind of had the idea
Yeah.
where Newfoundland was. And then I looked at the map, and it was basically the end of the world. But something about it was telling me to go for it.
Yeah.
And I thought of it as an adventure, honestly.
Yeah.
And then I came to St. John's and met so many amazing people there. I
beautiful.
don't think I met, yeah. I don't know if you heard, but Newfoundlanders are known for their hospitality and
Yeah.
amazing people, really. They really make you feel accepted, and,
Hmm.
and I've had an amazing 3 years so far.
Like you guys said too, like it's such a small province. Like it's such a small. Like it's so community driven. It's so
Mm-hmm.
different than Ontario. Like we're not like that at all. I can tell you right
Yeah.
now. But like everything, like I've never been out east. I want to, but like everything I've heard is just so family focused, and like you said, everybody's so welcoming. It's a different lifestyle altogether. It makes it easier, I guess, for people coming from other countries, other provinces to get accustomed and feel at home. right away, as opposed to coming to a Toronto where you're a face in how many millions of people. It's ridiculous.
Yep.
What was the biggest adjustment going to Newfoundland for you guys? Obviously, it's community driven, but what was the one thing that stood out to you guys about Newfoundland?
I can say one thing right off the bat. Costa spent 1 year in Vermont. So he no, but not me. It's cold, so cold here all the time. You get like 1 month, like July, August, beautiful. Like Newfoundland's place to be to those 2 months, and under 10 months, very depressing. Rain, snow, fog, all that. But I mean, we get sharp winters in Serbia.
Okay.
Too. So like, it's not I haven't experienced winter before, but in Tennessee, the weather was definitely way nicer.
Yeah, having the Vermont experience versus the Tennessee experience in winter, and then coming to Newfoundland, it's night and day for you.
I mean, Vermont was probably even more colder. More cold, but it's Vermont is landlocked, so it's cold and it's snowy. For Newfoundland, I don't know. Back in Vermont, we had a month of temperature not going over -20 or something. It's actually really crazy. And I know you know how it is when it's like landlocked and how cold it is on continental Canada compared to Newfoundland, for example. But honestly, the thing I read before coming to Newfoundland, I read about the winds there, and heard it was the windiest city in North America.
Oh, good. That's what you want to hear.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, windier than Chicago? No way. And then I came there and I saw it for myself, but I think the weather is really the biggest adjustment you can do from back home. Let's say, like right now here, since I came back, it's 20-25 degrees every day.
Oh, must be nice.
Yeah, so the weather part was the trickiest one, but like as I said, the people in Newfoundland make it worth it. You know, like a lot of advice, a lot of friendships formed. They just really make you feel welcome. So I didn't really care about the weather, to be honest.
It's one thing to read about the weather, then it's another thing to actually be there when it's windy. And like Vermont, it's such a different cold than when you're on the water. Like here where I am now, we're on lakes, so the cold it's totally different than being in the middle of a province when there's no water around you. Like it's so different. But the fact that you guys only have like 1 or 2 nice months and the other 10, you don't know what's going to happen. Like all the power to you guys.
Like I remember in Tennessee, like my birthday is in February, and I remember celebrating my birthday wearing shorts and t-shirt in February. Like that never happened, even back home, like never. And then I got here, and I was still wearing winter jacket like end of May. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, but we manage.
Once you get used to it, you figure out a way. But it's that first time it hits, and you're going outside in April and thinking, okay, yeah, it's going to be sunny, and then it's cold. Put your coat back on.
Yeah,
it's like I was in Ontario. I'm in Ontario. I was in Alberta for 2 years, and the first day I went outside in Alberta, and it said it was like -20. I was like, okay, I'm used to Ontario here, like spring jacket, sweater, and I'm good. You walked outside and it just hits you like a wall. It's so cold. And we had 2 or 3 weeks too where it was nothing above -30 after wind chill. I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like,
we were saying back home in Serbia, speaking about Canada, we say Canada is cold, but it has high standards.
Yeah.
Very much so true.
That's fair.
Take that as a compliment.
I'll take that. Yeah, that's true though. It is true. It is cold, but we do have that fits. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
For you guys, what is it? How much easier is it having another person from your home country on a roster?
I'll let Boris take over this one.
That's kind of what I was missing in the States. Like
Mhm.
I didn't have anyone to talk to like in my land. It's like little things. It's
Mhm.
not even like anything major. Just like someone to speak your language
Mhm.
to like joke around. Like obviously like culture is way different. Like the way people joke around, like ultimately it's the same, but
Mhm.
like some like jokes, like the way me and Costa like interact with each other in comparison how we interact with other people. Like, it's not really much different, and
Mhm.
I don't even know how I would like describe it.
Yeah.
But it makes a huge difference. Like we live together. We're here in the same house. We've been living for 2 years together, and
Yeah.
like I couldn't ask for a better roommate, for a better teammate. Honestly, like I'm not even trying to
I'm
be.
blushing.
Yeah, he's blushing now.
So
I'm only saying this because we're live, but
that's true. I was gonna say, but then you say all these nice things, and then when the man asks you to cut his hair, it's just kind of whatever happens, happens.
listen, I tried my best,
It's
honestly, but it didn't really turn out good. I cut the hair off. You can ask our roommate and teammate Ohad from Israel.
Mhm.
I think after I cut his hair, I officially retired from cutting hair. I did
Yeah, that was terrible.
absolutely like that was terrible. I felt so bad. Like I actually felt so bad. I destroyed the guy. So yeah, I'm officially retired
Yeah.
from cutting hair.
No, what I can tell Tyler is that I mean, I always had another Serbian guy with me, even in Vermont.
Mhm.
But I could see, even in my first year before Boris came over, Jovan Babovic, he played point guard
Mhm.
for Memorial, and Vasily was there as well, playing for the St. John's Edge. So
Mhm.
you always had someone to talk to, and it's the most important thing for me was to speak my own language, to not forget that mentality that we have,
Mhm.
which as much as I love Newfoundlanders, I know it's a different mentality and it's a different
Mhm.
background. So, but I could see even me and Boris had this conversation many times,
Yeah.
and how much it was important for him to finally have someone to speak to and to relate to,
Mhm.
and I feel like it made you a better player
Oh, for sure.
in these 2 years that you had somebody in your corner at all times.
A little bit more of a sense of home, if you will, having that person you can talk the language to, or just kind of remove yourself
Oh yeah,
from Newfoundland for whether it's 5 minutes or whatever, just to have that kind of sense of back home, I guess.
yeah. Oh, definitely. And we're trying to spread the culture,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean I know Peter used to know a decent amount of Serbian. He didn't brush up on it for a couple of years, but
Okay.
hopefully he'll come over here and we can take care of that.
Did you guys know each other or play against each other when you guys were back home before you came to Memorial?
No, well, the thing is, as I said, uh, I wasn't playing here on the level as Boris was.
Okay.
He was playing for the U16 national team. He used to
Mm-hmm.
play all around Serbia against clubs. I only played that for 1 year, so I knew of Boris because he was the MVP 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have to brag for him now. He was MVP over some NBA draft candidates this year, so
Okay.
he was a pretty good player. Still is.
Back in my glory days.
So I knew of Boris, but I never ever met him.
Mm-hmm.
And then years down the road, after I finished my first year, uh, Peter told me that Boris is coming, and I was ecstatic. I mean, I knew what kind of a talent he was, and
Mm-hmm.
how much he would mean to the program. So, and of course another Serbian guy.
That's
So
true. Yeah.
yeah, so I was really happy.
No, that
He
makes sense.
pretty much said it.
Got to ask about last year a bit for you guys. I know Costa, you redshirted, but the year you guys went 8-12. Started out 5-3, and then something happened after Christmas. I don't know what happened. You guys went 1-9 to start, and then you swept UPEI the last two games to get into the playoffs.
A lot happened. Like we went to the shoveler tournament in Dow
Mm-hmm.
during right after Christmas,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of injuries happened to
Mm-hmm.
the major players.
Yeah.
And it just kind of went down the hill. Like the way our preseason went,
Mm-hmm.
and the way we played at those first 8 games, like we were honestly kind of pissed that we lost those 3 games because we
Mm-hmm.
thought we deserved. Like we could have easily been 8-0, but I mean, stuff happens. Like you, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose.
Mm-hmm.
Then some players ended up being ineligible to play to the next half of the season. We had some major injuries. Then with major injuries, we didn't have enough bodies at practice.
That's true.
It was just a rough go. Like there was like at times we had like 7 guys like at practice. It
Yeah,
was just
it
not
was
good.
pretty rough.
We couldn't even run proper practices. It was just bad. And then like it's one thing when you win, like morale of the team is high, like
Mm-hmm.
everybody's happy, and then like when you get in a little bit of a slump, it gets hard. Like I mean that's when championship teams are made,
Mm-hmm.
and hopefully we can bounce back from that. That's the goal. That's why we're working hard right now over the off season, and obviously we have a lot of time until the season resumes. If
That's
it
true.
resumes,
Hopefully it does. I hope it does.
I hope so too. But
Yeah.
just kind of unfortunate the way everything went down
Mm-hmm.
from the end of December till the end of the
And
season.
I can tell you, like we expected much more as well from last season.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I wasn't playing, but I was there for practice. I was trying to help out as much as I could, and we really had a really good team last year.
Mm-hmm.
Cole came from the States, gave us a huge boost, a huge offensive weapon,
Yep.
and we had Barker, an all-star from last year.
Mm-hmm.
Manny was the AUS Rookie of the Year. So, like we expected a lot more.
All 3 of those players ended up missing.
Ended up injured in the second, yeah. So
Yeah.
after I thought we played some really good teams in the preseason, and we played Saskatchewan. We beat them by like 15.
Mm-hmm.
They ended up being nationally ranked throughout the year. So, I felt we beat Concordia. We gave Queens a really good game.
Mm-hmm.
I thought we could have went a lot further the last year, but basketball gods didn't think so.
When it rains, it pours. You get guys that get injured, then you get guys that go ineligible, and when one thing happens, then the snowball starts rolling down the hill, and before you know it, you have 7 guys in practice, and you can't run anything. You can't run any plays 3-on-3. It doesn't work.
That's really, really unfortunate. Like the way we were so like excited at the beginning of the season, like the whole summer we've been working so hard, and when the preseason, like we couldn't wait for preseason, and the way we like performed the preseason, we were like amped to play the season. Then we started off good.
Mm-hmm.
We were second going into the second half, like everything was going fine,
mm-hmm.
and then it just
the wheels fell off.
Yep, pretty much. So we were just really unfortunate we weren't able to play the best teams when we were fully healthy.
Mm-hmm.
with that form that we had, and it just kind of carried on till the end of the season.
But
Yeah, everybody expected us. Not everybody, but a lot of people expected us to go for us to be the team that can surprise Dell, and
mhm.
you know, shout out to the Dell guys, but
Yeah, for sure.
I thought we could have beaten them at our best, So
It'll be
I don't know. It's just sad.
it's tough to look back and wonder, like, hindsight's always 2020, but that top 3, 4 with like Dow, Saint FX, you guys, everybody's at full strength. That's fun to watch. It's
Mm-hmm.
fun to play because you want to beat teams at their best. And like, credit to you guys for like continuing to fight and sweeping UPEI to get into the playoffs when like everything was just falling on you at that point. What excites you guys the most for the future? Like, again, hopefully we have some sort of season this year, get at least something out of it, and it doesn't all go for naught, and you guys wait more than a year to play again.
Yeah, that would not be.
Like, I got to stop talking. I got to stop speaking that into existence because I feel like the more I say it, the more it's going to happen.
Don't jinx it. Yeah.
So when we start in January, when you guys play your first game, that's where we're going to start it from now on, is when you play in January. What excites you the most about the future of the program?
Honestly, I'm not even looking that far ahead. I just want to like get back to the gym, like with the guys. I just want to like start actually like preparing for next season.
Mm-hmm.
Like obviously, like I mentioned, Peter, he's not a coach anymore, so a lot of changes is coming our way. Like there's kind of like a lot of uncertainty. Like there's a lot of uncertainty with this whole pandemic thing.
Yep.
Then for our program, there's a lot of uncertainty. We still have a very strong team. It's kind of tough to like bounce back for that, but I feel like all the players on the team are hungry and want to prove ourselves. We want to get back to how things are supposed to be and get ready for next season as good as we can be.
Yeah.
The time comes. We'll see what's gonna happen.
Yeah. And for me, it's all about getting into team shape because, I feel like we started this year pretty early preparing for next year. And some of it is because of last year and because of the injuries we had. I think this year is going to be different because we're going to, obviously we got to take it more seriously and be even more prepared. And, I think great teams can turn it on when they need to, right? So when it's playoffs time and everybody's exhausted and you can still find that strength to keep on going and keep playing every possession that's hard. I'm excited about us being at that level,
And at least for Boris, for you, I know you and Deng are doing the virtual camps this year. So, it gets you guys in the gym, I guess, a little bit earlier than others.
That's an adjustment the department had to make because usually beginning of July, that's when our like annual summer camps start. But unfortunately, I think for July, we can run them in person. In August, maybe we will.
Okay.
So that's something like we just do as a summer job and love hanging out with kids, teaching them basketball. That's
one of those big adjustments, too, for the athletes because that's what you said. A lot of you guys run camps in the summer. It's fun to be around the kids, keeps you in the gym, keeps you active and whatever else.
Of course, it's probably the most fun part of the summer.
And then
everybody's there. You're in the gym constantly. You can work out whenever.
Yep. Makes it fun. Teach the kids, and then now it's all through Zoom. You're watching through a screen.
Spending time. It's gonna happen. Hopefully, this is gonna be good. So really excited, and also excited just to have something to do because now you saw I've been walking around, hiking, doing all kinds of stuff, keep myself busy. So I'm kind of excited just to have something scheduled to do.
How is the golf game coming along?
But, uh, I mean, it was my first time playing actual,
First time ever playing
legit golf. So,
Okay.
yeah.
It's not really popular in Serbia now.
I did a few drives when I was in US, but that was my first time. I played mini golf, but that doesn't count.
It
But
counts.
I mean, it's not the same experience.
That's true. You don't really see any windmills or whatever else on the golf course. If you did, then you're probably somewhere you're not supposed to be.
And the pond's a little bit bigger than the mini golf ones.
That's true. You can't fish your ball. You can't fish your ball out of it that quickly.
But yeah, it was fun. It was fun.
It's like you said, like you guys there's a lot of uncertainty with COVID. Like we don't know what it's going to be like tomorrow, heaven forbid, 3 months from now in September or even beyond that. And then with you guys adding in coaching change, like this is when you guys are planning for next year and you can't get in the gym to plan. So there's a ton of uncertainty that kind of creates that bit of almost an uneasy feeling because you have no idea what's going to happen and when you can get into a gym and work out at full strength, which is hopefully much sooner than later.
Right.
Hopefully.
A couple questions that came in on Instagram revolving around some of your NBA favorites, but not players. Favorite NBA reporters. Yeah.
Oh, what's her name? Kristen Ledlow. Ledlow. Okay. She's nice. From the Inside Stuff.
Okay.
The one that goes with Grant Hill, you know, the blonde one?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about now. Took me a minute.
She's nice.
For me, it's Doris Burke. She's the GOAT.
She's the GOAT, but like Kristen,
she's the GOAT.
She's a bit low key. That's why I said. That's why I didn't want to say Doris. Like
a little bit under the radar
on that. So I want to take up unique.
Okay. Do you guys listen to basketball podcasts? And if so, someone wants to know which ones.
I have a feeling who asked this question.
I'll tell you after we're done recording, so we don't give it away.
You don't have to. I definitely know. Well, a friend of mine who's a soccer player. Shout out to him. He plays in the Serbian league now.
Jeez, you really did know who did it.
I know everything. Well, he introduced me to Bill Simmons, and I mean he's the podfather. So
yeah, that's true.
It only makes sense that I listen to him. He's definitely one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
Zach Lowe, all the basketball podcasts. Honestly, I listen to a lot of Ringer stuff.
Okay.
Vojpod as well. You know, Boris is laughing because I'm usually going around the house.
No, I'm listening. I'm listening to podcasts when Kosta's listening to podcasts.
Yeah.
He just turns it all the way up, puts it in the living room, and then I hear everything.
So you don't really have a choice. You just whenever Kosta puts one on, you have to listen to it, or else
pretty much
you gotta leave the house. Okay, that's fair. Anything else you guys want to shed some light on that we didn't hit on already? Or are you guys happy with what we threw out there?
I mean, if you have any more questions, you can feel free to fire away. You know,
we hit on them all as we kind of went through. The rest of them kind of centered around your move to North America, coming to Memorial, and then the two NBA ones at the end. One I will ask everybody: Team MJ or Team LeBron?
Boris can answer first.
There's only one answer for this too, by the way.
I'm Team LeBron.
He's Team LeBron. That's why I let him go first, so you can scold him.
I'm Team LeBron.
Have you watched The Last Dance?
Of course I did.
And you still went Team LeBron?
I'm Team LeBron for life.
Okay.
I'm Team LeBron for life. Like, I don't know. I know a lot of people are disagreeing with that, but That's my goat.
People
Trust me.
Jordan. No disrespect to Michael Jordan whatsoever.
people are entitled to their opinions even when they're wrong.
All right.
No, trust me, Tyler. I've been trying to prove to him he's wrong, but I mean,
Okay.
MJ's a goat. That's
I'll
all
ask.
it is.
I'll ask because I get why. Why do you have LeBron over MJ?
Why?
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, because LeBron is my first ever NBA player that I liked. Like, he just became my favorite when I was a little kid,
Okay.
and I just kind of stuck with him. Like, the way in my opinion, LeBron is, and I'm pretty certain that I'm right with this one. In my opinion, LeBron is the best all-around player ever.
Okay. Yeah.
Jordan probably is more clutch, the championship mentality, all that. Like, I'm not taking that away from Jordan, but in my opinion, LeBron, like, there's no other player in the league that can do all like LeBron can on that high of a level for that long of a time.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Because
No,
he's been 16 years strong, and
Mhm.
it's not slowing down. If you can do what he's doing at the age of, 35, 36?
Yeah,
Come
that's
on.
true. And it's
Jordan
They're
did retire.
strong.
Jordan was going back in and out of NBA whenever he wanted. I mean, he's goated for that he can just do that whenever.
that's true.
But, like, LeBron's been doing it.
Very strong number 2. I agree.
Yeah. It's
For me personally, I used to always say when somebody asked me who's the best player of all time, I would say if not Jordan, then I don't know if you're familiar with Dražen Petrovic.
Mhm.
Um, the whole story is that he tragically died in '92.
Mhm.
He was a Croatian player, and he was amazing. And I remember the season before he died. I don't remember, but I used to watch all the videos about him. And he dropped 40 something on Jordan's head that season. So I don't know what could have been. I don't know.
You never really know. Like, it ended so, like, sadly so soon. Like, you wonder what could have been if he had a full career. Like, who only
Probably would
knows?
have been the best shooter of all time. I don't
Yeah.
know about player, but shooter,
Yeah, probably.
more likely.
And it's crazy to think that LeBron's been in the league for 16 years or whatever it is already. Like, I remember it feels like 3 years ago he was in high school. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know where 16 years have gone, but like you said, he just keeps going.
keeps going.
Yeah,
And
that's why. That's my main argument.
knock
Like,
on wood, I don't think he's ever been seriously hurt, if I'm not mistaken. He's been relatively healthy the entire time,
Hmm.
which is
The
baffling to me.
thing that I love about LeBron and that I really respect about him is that he faced a lot of adversity through the beginning of his career until he won his first championship.
Mm-hmm.
And he always found a way he would come back with something different in his arsenal, whether it was the post game or the 3-point shot or adding a little bit more muscle so he can bully people. It's amazing that he can evolve his game even in year 16. Now he's leading the league in assists, so he's showing that he really is. I think he is the best all-around player ever, but there's a difference between the best winner and best all-around player.
Yeah.
no matter what, LeBron's my GOAT. Forever will be. I found out about LeBron. I bought his jersey when I was 6 years old, so that would be like 2004 or 5. And I actually bought his jersey by accident. I have no idea. I just wanted like an NBA jersey for my practices to look cool. Accidentally bought LeBron's Cavs old white jersey.
Yeah.
I thought it looked really cool, and then that guy ended up being one of the best players ever, and I'm forever gonna rock with that.
I don't think we'll ever have a definitive answer on Kobe, LeBron, MJ,
You can make arguments all day. Like, you can just go from each perspective. You can say, okay, this one did this, the other one didn't. Okay, this guy is better at it. So it just goes like.
There's probably 20 guys, 15, 20 guys you could make a case for, and I don't think we'll ever have a definitive list that pleases everybody. Never.
We just gotta appreciate greatness.
That's kind of the beauty of those chosen few.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just to be in the conversation, I think, is a win in itself. If you have people saying that you're the best player of all time, you've done something right.
Yeah.
And I can only dream what that would be like. Never going to happen, but that's fine. That's okay.
You'll get there. Believe in yourself. One quarter podcast on the come up.
That's true. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Just wanted to make a correction. When you asked me about the podcast, yours is definitely one of them.
Okay. I didn't want to plug myself in there because that sounds a little bit conceited, but I had to just kind of.
We got you.
The question was legit. It wasn't made up by me.
Yeah,
but I didn't want to guide you in that direction just in case.
I know it wasn't you. And when I discovered that there is podcasts about university basketball, like in Canada, I try to keep up as much as I can. I didn't listen to every single one. Yeah. I didn't listen to every single one, but
No, there's probably too many that I put out to listen to them all. But there's only two of us that do it, and only one that does it all year round. So
yeah, and I listened to the one with the CBU coach.
Yeah,
and it was interesting to hear his perspective on things. He has a different coaching style than generally coaches have in the AUS. Mm-hmm. Boris can attest to that as well. He has a different relationship with his players than what you're used to seeing. So that was definitely an interesting one.
There's so many interesting stories in Canadian basketball that don't get told. So it's only right that there's a platform or a voice that you guys can share stories, like how you guys came to Memorial from Serbia, which most people probably don't know about. It's a lot of fun just to sit here and listen. Then I usually forget where I'm at in questions, and I just get listening to stories. Then there's a pause, and I'm like, oh shit, this is where you have to say something. And some days we get there, and some days it's just long silence, and we just stare at each other until I get myself together and get back on track.
No, I mean it's what podcasts are all about. Just having conversations.
Yep.
And that's it.
Having fun, see where you end up, and I appreciate you guys for doing this. I know it's I don't know what time it is where you are, Kosta. I know it's early afternoon like for you. At night?
Yeah. No. It's 6:30 p.m. right now.
Okay. Well, that's not terrible. I mean, it still looks bright out, so I mean that's all right. But appreciate you guys doing this. I hope you guys stay healthy, stay safe, and hopefully we're in a gym sooner than later. So we can play January. We're playing in January.
Yeah, for sure.
And then we'll have a full season the year after. We're playing in January.
Of course.
We're going to speak it into existence because I'm sick of speculating. And it's just going to everyone's going to listen and be like, okay, we're playing in January. This guy says it every time. It's going to happen regardless.
Exactly.
But anytime you guys want to jump back on, there's a spot here for you. We can talk Memorial, talk whatever you guys want. We'll make it happen.
Sounds good, Tyler. Appreciate you having us.
Anytime, guys. Anytime.